Hello, welcome to my first live. Now, I don't even know if I'm live. Am I live? I have no idea. Let me see. I have no idea what I'm doing, but when I decide to do something, I go all out. So that's why I'm on live so fast. I didn't even want to show my face at first. So if someone is here, leave a comment so I know someone is in the live. I think I see myself. Okay, so I am the Downsizing Diva and I am live. I can't believe I am live. I am excited to be here today. I wanted to do a live just to, experience my first live and see what it's like. I also wanted to kind of I also wanted to connect with some of my subscribers. So, oh, I see there's Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly is from Washington State. Okay, let's see. And Kimberly, I am from Ohio. So let me see if I can put this question up. Now, remember, this is my first live, Kimberly. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to make it work. Okay, so here we go. Here's the question. Where are you watching from? All right. So when I first started on YouTube, I was, taking Mounjaro. I had been taking Mounjaro for about I would say 3 months, maybe 4 or 5 months, maybe even longer than that, maybe 5 months. And I'm an educator, so I was on summer vacation. And I thought, instead of just sitting at home, I need to do something. I had taken a class. We were supposed to take a class over the summer, and they had given us a year. And it was, kind of, time consuming. But I whipped through that, got that done like maybe the first week after school was out. And then I just kind of had time on my hands. So I thought, what can I do? And so I started watching these YouTube videos and I was seeing these, YouTubers talk about their weight loss journey using a GLP-1. And I thought, I should do that. And I had experience with making videos before. I have another YouTube channel and I really didn't, I started it and didn't really follow up with it. And I was never on camera either. And so I thought, okay, I could do this. I can learn. So then I just got into it, like learning how to edit the videos, learning how to, make the thumbnails and all those things. And so I was really excited about, the opportunity to do that. And I thought, I am not showing my face. I will not be on camera. Like that is not my thing. I'm not on social media. I'm not, really out and about like that. I'm very private. And so that just brings me to it kind of explaining like how I ended up where I am at. So I just can't believe I am on YouTube. I would have never thought that I would be on YouTube recording my journey with the Mounjaro. And like I said, first I started off just recording my voice, and I thought, I wanted more of a podcast kind of vibe. And I thought when I'm driving to work or when I'm going places, I listen. I don't really watch a whole lot. Like I'm working around the house, and I thought it would be, oh, okay. People would just, be like, okay, we'll listen to her. And then I posted my 6 month review video or 6 months update. And at the end of that, I show pictures. And when I show those pictures, people were so excited to see my face and to make a connection with the voice. And so when I realized that, I thought, I need to show more of myself. And people actually, encouraged me to, show more of myself. And then there was this lady, and I can't remember her name. I tried to find the comment um, or the post to share the post and not put her name out there or anything, but I couldn't find it. So I'll have to do that one of these days. But she basically said that she started off as the same weight as I did. And, she was, I think she was at that point, maybe she was on 5 milligrams, switching to 7, she was on 5 milligrams, titrating up to 7.5. And she said, I kind of, my story reminded, her of, me of her. So, so we had something in common. We had made that connection. And I thought that's pretty cool. And it is nice especially when, you're on a weight loss journey, to see other people who have started where you started or who are where you are, and those are the people you want to follow. And I know I sometimes I see some YouTubers who are under in Wonderland, I will call it, in Wonderland. And I think that's so far away from where I'm at that sometimes I don't really make the connection, but they're still very motivating. So I do appreciate that. Yeah, we do tend to gravitate towards those people that we have something in common with. So, and I read that comment, and I had, other comments, but that one just kind of let me know I need to get my face out there so she can actually see my journey. And so this brings me to my first live. I'm going to share my story. Just, I don't think I've really ever told my whole entire story. I want to share my boot camp experience, because that's one of the things that um, led me to being on Mounjaro, and then my celebrations and challenges. And I don't know if you've seen my previous video where I talked about I'm challenging myself to see if I can get Eli Lilly to pay me with their stock. And so I did purchase a percentage, a small little piece of Eli Lilly stock. And I'll show you that and show you how it looks. Now, I actually took a screenshot and, a picture of the stock and my purchase yesterday. So it's already today. It's different. So which is the stock market. It's up and it's down. So so that is what we're gonna do today. And then I have a raffle. I have a box of Element. I don't know if Kimberly, you are the only one I think that's here right now. So I don't know if you're interested in Element at all, but I do have a sample box of Element that I want to raffle off at the end. So I'll talk more about that toward the end. So hopefully, Kimberly, you stay until the end. So that's what we're going to do today. That's what we're going to talk about. So I just want to, talk about my childhood being, overweight as a child and put on diets. And I felt like as a child, I was always on a diet. I was just kind of chubby, not super big, but like one of those chunky kids. And everyone in my family is slim and trim. No one was really overweight. So for me to be chunky, it was like, no. And my family wasn't mean about it or anything, but the reality of it is they were all slim and they didn't understand why I was chunky. And so at that point, my mom was controlling and my dad a lot of what I was eating. And it just seems like everything I eat just went to my stomach and my thighs and my chubby cheeks too. And so everything I ate went there. And I think I started my first diet. Now it could be earlier, but I just remember starting my first diet when I was in the 6th grade. And then by the time I had gotten up to high school, middle school, high school, I started to slim down. And I had all the curves and all the right places until I got to college. And when I got to college, I gained so much weight. I gained so much weight in college. And I don't know if anybody, um, can relate. Kimberly, I don't know if you can relate to, being in college, but if not, you just develop terrible eating habits. Most people nowadays, I would say the younger people are more health conscious maybe than we were. When I was in college, I don't remember having friends that were extremely health conscious, but if they were, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. But that's where my love of fast food was born as well. So, I would stay up late. I would have pizza. I want to say in my college town, we had, I want to say it was a Domino's, and that's the pizza I would eat. And we had an Arby's. I don't even eat, Arby's to this day, but I remember eating it in college. And, just going out to eat, eating things that you microwave really quickly, lots of carbs, not a lot of protein. And that's where my love for carbs continued as well. And then really up at night a lot studying. And, I would hang out all day, hang out with my friends, we'd meet out. And then late at night, I would stay up all night and I would study. And, I did that for a lot of my college years. I would take no-dos. I don't know if that's still a thing, but a lot of kids were taking no-dos back then to, keep you awake. So just all of that, as you can imagine, is not something you should do when you're trying to take care of your body. And so those were my college years, and that weight kind of stuck and maintained over the years. And then when I finally hit just my biggest weight gain ever, it was around the time my mom passed. And actually, when my mom passed, I was, on my way to slimming down. And then when she got sick and she passed, my weight, just reached an all-time high. So of course, as you can imagine, that was, depression eating. And I don't know that I was really depressed, but I very well could have been. And so it was that type of eating. It was not just depression, but just, anything. Like, I had some, great things that happened even after my mom passed that I celebrated, my daughter being born, and, a lot of other great things happened in my life. And so, I celebrated. And how did I celebrate? By eating, the same old, foods that got me, high up in that weight in the first place. But you see it a little different because you see it as like celebrating. You don't see it as, just eating because you're sad or anything like that. So that is when I reached my all-time high. So I know a lot of people I've heard, telling their weight loss stories, and it's always something that happened that was, tragic or sad that, pushed them over the edge. Of course, having children, which is not a sad occasion, but that also puts the pounds on people. So then I went to this boot camp, and this was probably, I had been on diets before, like lots of diets before. And this boot camp was the first time that I had ever really dedicated myself to, losing weight. It was like the very first time that I dedicated myself to losing weight. Before I do that, I did want to ask, let me ask if, how old were you guys when you went on your first diet? Were you ever on a diet? Like I was? It seems like I have been on a diet since I was a little kid. I'm trying to find the question so you can see it. Or I guess, were you overweight as a child? And if so, were you put on diets as a child? All right. So my boot camp experience. So at this boot camp, I was so motivated. I was so motivated to lose weight. I had the right mindset. At the boot camp, you were required to exercise 3 to 4 times a week. There were weekly weigh-ins. We had protein, we had veggies, that we had to eat. You were really not allowed to eat carbs, but you could eat fruits. I think you could eat like a grapefruit, so many times a week. It was, very structured, very strict, very like keto-ish, like no carbs, pretty much. Carbs were the enemy. And so the great thing about that boot camp is I lost weight fast. I remember I lost 50 pounds in 5 months. I was just looking slim and trim. I'll never forget, someone at my job, the custodian, had said, "Oh, I can see you're getting that, like, that Coke bottle shape." I was slimming down, and, I was feeling good. And one of the great things about that boot camp is I made a few lifetime friends, which is, I'm friends with to this day. And we also exercise consistently. So like I said, you had to exercise at least 3 times. And then, I think I would sometimes go 4 and maybe even 5, but most of the time I did the 3. When I started out, I think I was doing 4 and 5. And then, as you can see, when I started to share how it kind of went downhill, I didn't even want to go the 3 times. But it was still consistent. And you were required to keep a food log, and it was checked. So every week when you went to weigh in, she checked that food log. And if there was something on that log you should not have, it was not good. So, which is why I needed that, because I needed that accountability, that kind of like fear of you better keep this together. You better, stay on track. And so I needed that, but I didn't like it. So my struggles there at the boot camp was when I started to get closer to that 50 pounds, I was just so bored by that time with eating, like just eating like meat and vegetables. It just was just terrible. And one other thing I wanted to share is that this is, I want to say this was maybe like in 2000, was it 2012 or 2000, maybe it was 2008, 2009. I can't even remember the year, but I haven't eaten beef or pork since then, because that's another thing on the plan. You cannot eat beef, you cannot eat pork, you can only eat lean chicken, fish, and turkey. And even though, I've put on pounds over the years, that's all I eat. I don't eat beef, I don't eat pork. So it's been, a very long time. And so I was so bored though with eating, and that's probably another reason why, my protein choices were limited. So I started to go to Weight Watchers. I thought, I am not doing this. She's not going to know. I'm still going to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. I'm going to go to Weight Watchers. And I was still losing, but I was losing very slowly. Like Weight Watchers, that first week you lose water weight, you lose 3 to 4 pounds, and you get super excited thinking next week you're going to lose 3 to 4 pounds. And no, you end up losing, you lose your 1 to 2 pounds. And so this was Weight Watchers though back, 15 years ago. This is not like the new Weight Watchers where the points are different now. And, you have a list of foods that you can eat unlimited. That wasn't the case back then, but I was still losing. So, I would go to the boot camp and you weighed in, and I remember she would be sitting there and she would look at your, first of all, she didn't treat you nice because, it was kind of like the idea was like military. She's strict, she's tough. And I mean, she did not crack a smile. Only time she cracked a smile was if she was talking to her husband or somebody who also worked there. And so, I remember she would take my sheet and I would walk up there and she would say, she'd look my sheet up and down and she'd say, you're a closet eater. And I would just look at her and smile, and she would say, yeah, I'm talking to you. You're a closet eater. And in my mind, I would be thinking, I'm eating not what's on that sheet, but I'm not in the closet. I'm eating out where everybody can see me. But she didn't know that. I take that back. She did know that, but I still would lose that 1 to 2 pounds. And so I think she knew, because she always used to talk about how your body should look a certain way when you're working out and you're eating protein and vegetables, you're eating clean. So she could tell if you're eating, carbs that you shouldn't be. She could tell how your body was losing. And honestly, I think she was right, because she would have me pegged. And, of course, I wasn't putting that I was, eating spaghetti, but a lot of less of spaghetti. I had portion controlled it. She just somehow knew. And she would always smile. She would always, treat me really nice. I think she developed a little bit of a soft spot for me. And no matter what she did, I smiled. And I'm still kind of like that to this day. Like no matter what she did, I had a smile on my face. And so she would, say, yeah, she's like, yeah, I know you're eating. I know you're eating when you're not supposed to be eating. And so, like I said, I would just, just pretend like, just pretend like I really didn't know that, she was on to me, but I knew she was on to me. And so I thought, I'm going to stick this out and see how long I could get away with it, because remember, I'm still losing. I'm just not losing as fast. So I knew she knew something was up. And but she was still, taking my money every week. So I guess she thought, if this is what she wants to do with her money. Now she has been known to kick people out. Like if people aren't losing, she would put you out of the boot camp. And so I was a little fearful of that she might put me out. And then so, but she didn't. Like I said, I think she kind of had a soft spot for me in a way. And there were times when I would hit that 3-pound loss, and she would just smile and, look at me like, I don't know how you did it, but you did it. So, but this is why the boot camp ended. And this is what pulled at my heartstrings. So there was one day, we were there. There was one incident that really wasn't really, I don't know if it was so much related to her, but there was a girl who was exercising, and all of a sudden she just fell and she started foaming at the mouth. And they were, of course, they were all in a panic. The people that worked there, they were going over to her and basically asking her, are you okay? Are you okay? And, she couldn't talk. She had, she was foaming at the mouth. So they were giving her like, they were like, give her, I think it was an orange. So basically, I think her blood sugar level had dropped dangerously low. So the ambulance had to be called. And, then she gave us this lecture when the ambulance left, how, we better not make her, look like she's telling us the wrong thing. You guys have to eat. You got to do this. You got to do that. She wasn't eating. She was dehydrated. And so I felt like she was blaming her. And maybe it was her fault, but I just think the pressure of being there under her scrutiny is probably what drove her, to that a little bit. But it just felt like she kind of flipped on the girl, and the compassion I saw just kind of left. And I just think that was like her boot camp way of being. I don't think that, she really, meant anything by it, but the impression I got was that. And so the thing that really made me leave is that one day we were, there, we were working out, and then it was time to weigh in. And this time she looked, sometimes she would just randomly come and look at your sheets in front of everybody. You would do it in front of everybody. It wouldn't be like off to the side. So this girl, she was a big girl. She was probably like 3 of me. And, I just give her a lot of credit that she was even there, trying to do something. So why did she write this on her sheet? I always ask myself to this day, like, why did she write this? But she wrote on her sheet that she had eaten donuts. So when I tell you, it still like tugs at my heart to this day. That lady said, "You're eating donuts as big as you are. You don't need to be looking at a donut. You don't need to eat a donut. What are you thinking? Are you crazy?" I mean, she just went off. And I mean, I started to tear up. I just felt like, oh my gosh, I felt like, I guess they call it secondhand embarrassment for someone. And so I was trying to like look around, like, I hope nobody sees that I'm like tearing up, because I felt so bad for her. And I was trying not to look at my friend who was like standing, kind of nearby. And I didn't want anybody to see that I was like getting choked up. Well, as I, looked up, because I was curious to see this girl's reaction, I just saw everybody else's faces that looked just like mine. We were just all in shock. We just felt so bad for her. And I just made that decision that day in that moment that I was not going back. And, I just thought like, I know maybe this is like an act and her gig, but I just cannot see anybody be humiliated like that and not want to speak up. And so I said, if I stay here, I'm going to be into it with this lady. And so, I just remember going home and on my way home, like praying for this girl and just hoping like, she gets the help that she needs and she didn't have to go to that extreme to get it. But I don't know that she ever came back. I don't know if she came back. I don't know if she left. Like I said, I didn't stay to find out. But, that was just my experience and my story. She still has some form of a boot camp here. And people still go and people are still losing. And, I hear she's turned over, a new leaf as far as she's very into like, vegan. So she's on the vegan side of things. So I just can imagine her saying, "You ate that chicken. Why did you eat that chicken?" So anyway, that's just not the place for me to be. I do need strict and I need accountability, but I don't need harsh. And I learned that the hard way. If I want harsh, I could just, I don't know, go somewhere else for that. I don't need to be, at a place that I'm going thinking you're feeling, safe and, you're feeling supported. And you just never know from day to day what was going to happen there. And so, like I said, for some people, it's great. For me, it just was not. So that is probably one of the last times that I, went on a weight loss journey and actually lost weight. So let me go to, I think I've deleted my one slide that talked about my challenges, but my celebrations, but that's okay. So when I got to, let me go back to this first slide of myself. And with these little weight stages here, and I have how it started, how it's going. When I started Mounjaro, I had been experiencing a lot of perimenopausal things going on with my body. I mean, it was just unbearable. I mean, I felt bad for the students in my class because I was kind of out a lot. I just did not know what was going on with my body, and so I had every test under the sun. And as I, mentioned, my mom passed away, and I just didn't want to let anything go. Like I wanted to. My mom went to the doctor a lot. They just didn't catch some things. So I'm so on top of, if I'm not feeling well, if I'm feeling, not feeling well, I'll go to the doctor in a heartbeat. And so, I went to the doctor, and the doctor, they just, no one could figure out what was going on with me. They just said, you are, I think they attributed everything to my weight too. That's another thing. Everything, even when you're perimenopausal, I'm 52. When I turn 50, it's like things cranked up a notch. And I think that they attributed everything to like me being overweight. Of course, I was having inflammation. My cycles were heavier. And I guess overweight women have heavier cycles at times. But I just knew that that was not normal. Like I knew that that wasn't in my body. I knew there was something was different. And so I was also eating a lot more. So I went to my gynecologist. She told me that, yes, you are perimenopausal. Everything you're going through is kind of normal. And, you're going to have even more weight gain. So she asked me, had I ever thought about having like a gastric bypass surgery? And I had not thought about it. I didn't want to do it. I remember going to a bariatric surgeon. This is such a true story. And when you get in there, they weigh you, or they have this huge scale, like it's like a Biggest Loser scale. So I went in there and I thought, are they going to weigh me on that scale? Like, I know I'm big, but I'm not that big. I wasn't even 300 pounds. And so I'm thinking, okay. So I sat there. So the guy comes in, and, he's like, oh, he's talking to me, and he's like, yeah, we're not going to weigh you on that scale. You don't weigh enough to be on that scale. And I said, people really weigh in on that scale? And he's like, oh yeah, you'd be surprised how, large the people are. And so I said, okay. So they didn't weigh me in on that scale, but I get into the doctor who specializes in bariatric surgeries, and he's supposed to be one of the best ones in my area. So he sits down, and, we're talking, and he just cuts me off, and he says, listen, he was like, you are a smart lady. You have it together. He was like, I'm not going to give you any appetite suppressants. You do not need to get bariatric surgery. He said, you just need to focus and do it. You can do it on your own. He's like, I'm not going to support that. Support you. I said, support what? What do you mean support that? And he said, taking the easy way out. And that kind of upset me, because I'm thinking, that's not an easy way out. And, again, I thought, here's somebody who is performing these bariatric surgeries, dealing with people with weight issues on a regular basis. And he says that's taking the easy way out. And I just thought, no. Even if I was deciding to have the bariatric surgery, it wouldn't be with him. So, but I wanted an appetite suppressant because I knew my appetite was out of control. So he said no. And I had a doctor before my previous doctor. No one would ever give me an appetite suppressant. I just still can't figure it out to this day. So my old doctor, my previous doctor, I should say, she decided to go into her own practice, kind of like a private, it was called a concierge. Never heard of that either. A concierge doctor, where I guess she comes to your house. You have to be pretty wealthy, have some great insurance in order for her to do this. And so she was leaving the practice. So I ended up getting a new doctor who was young. She's younger. I don't think she's that young, but she's young. She's sweet. And, she just never had weight problems, and she tried to, relate to me. But, when I went to her, and this was last year, I went to her and, told her, my life story, basically with the weight. And she said, oh, I'm going to give you, some Ozempic. She said they have this new drug out, and it's called Ozempic. And she's like, she didn't call it a drug. She called it a medication. She said, it's called Ozempic. And she said, it'll take that appetite away. She's like, it's like an appetite suppressant. And I said, that's exactly what I need. I'm like, thank you. I'm like, finally, somebody who had an appetite suppressant. And so she said, but it's an injection. And I said, what do you mean it's an injection? Like insulin? And she said, well, no, it's like a pen. And I don't think she had one there to show me, but she explained and she said, oh, some of my patients take it and said it was fine. And she said, I think you'll do well with it. And I said, I'm sorry. I said, I might just have to remain bigger for a lot longer because I cannot take an injection. I'm like, no, 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 ma'am. So she's like, oh, well, there is a pill form. She said the pill form is Ribelsis. And she said, you could take these pills. She said, we'll start you off at 3 milligrams. And she said, then you can move to 7 milligrams. And I said, okay, okay. And she said, I said, well, what do I do? She said, well, basically you just take the pill. She said, you can't take it with anything on your stomach. So when you first wake up, you take the pill with 8 ounces of water. And she said, but I'm going to give you 3 milligrams, but I want you to cut it in half and see how you do on it. So of course, that's what I did that first week. And she said, if you don't have, any severe side effects, then you take the next, the whole 3 milligram tablet, which is what I did. And so I didn't have any side effects, but I was just like, oh, okay, this is okay. This was over my summer break too. I made sure I did it when I was on summer vacation because, you just don't know how you would react. And then I didn't want to, it's hard when you're an educator to go to the restroom and get a break. And so I was like, okay, I'm off in the summer. I'll just take this. So I was, and I don't know if I start, I think I started when school was out. So I was taking that Ozempic or the Ribelsis, and it's just like Ozempic. It's just an pill. And it's obviously it doesn't react as fast because it's a pill and it's not, the liquid form. So I started off on the 3 milligrams and it was going fine. I was like, okay, I'm going to bump it up to 7. And she had already had the prescriptions in. So I, went to 7. I think I finished all the 3. And maybe I did not. I think I did. And then I moved up to the 7. And when I got to the 7, it just was an experience that was so different than what I experienced on Mounjaro now. I mean, you feel nauseous, you feel super full, like I don't know if you've ever overeaten fast food or any kind of food, and your stomach is stuffed. You can't eat a thing else, like one more thing. Well, that's how it felt to be on that Ribelsis. I felt stuffed all the time. And it's funny because I hear some of the content creators talk about their experiences and how, they know Zepbound or Mounjaro or Wegovy, they know how that is working because they, don't want to eat. They feel these symptoms. They feel super full. I didn't like that feeling. And I really haven't felt that way on Mounjaro. Maybe once or twice when I actually overate, but just to eat and feel that way and you haven't really eaten at all, that's how I felt being on Ribelsis. It was miserable. And I remember that summer I was supposed to be cleaning out, clothes, we, get our clothes together and we take them to a church or the Goodwill or this, different places where we can donate and donate our clothing. And so I remember that tired me out. Like you would have thought I was moving my whole house and I was just moving a few clothes around. That's how tired I was. I felt stuffed. And I just thought, I was thinking to myself, do I want to be feeling comfortable or do I want to be fat? And isn't that something else that you have to decide between the two? Like, why can't you just feel good and not be fat? But unfortunately, I felt like I had to make a choice. And when my daughter was around, when she would get home from her summer camp, I would just be so tired. I just felt kind of like a walking zombie almost. But I was losing. I did notice that I was losing, and rightfully so, because I really wasn't eating. And so I just thought, there's no way I can make it at school feeling this way. Like I work with third graders, they're 8 and 9, and you need energy. And so I thought, okay, I don't know if I could do this. So then I thought, okay, I need to just, toughen up here. I survived that boot camp. I can survive Ribelsis is what I was saying to myself. So I ended up going up because there is a schedule too with that. Like you could go up to 14 and I still have like a whole, bottle of 14 still in my house to this day. So I think I ended up trying the 14 and thinking, because I started to feel a little bit in that 7. My body must have gotten used to that, because even though I was feeling that way, I started to feel like it wasn't working as much. So I was like, oh, let me try the 14 and see. And that 14 just took me out. I mean, when I went back to my doctor, I want to say I went back to her in August. It may have been September. When I went back to her, she just basically told me, it was doing what it was supposed to do. My blood sugar levels had gone down, and my A1C had dropped down, and I had lost, I want to say maybe 10 pounds. And she was like so proud. And here I am miserable. And she was just happy that these things have gone down. And she was like, you probably added so many more years onto your life. Are you sure you don't want to keep it going? And I told her, I just can't, work like this. I just can't, like, on a day-to-day basis. I just couldn't survive. It was too much. And so when I stopped taking that, and this is why, I'm going to try to get in touch with some experts, or, I don't know, if my doctor my gynecologist would even be willing to come on YouTube and talk. But this helps with menopausal symptoms. I'm telling you, because when I didn't have those menopausal symptoms as much when I was taking that Ribelsis at all. And so, but when I stopped that, I want to say I stopped in like September, it may have been August, but when I stopped that, those symptoms, which was this last year, which leads me up into my Mounjaro journey, those symptoms were kicked in big time. I mean, I was super tired. I was bloated. I was, not having a cycle for 4 or 5 months at a time, but then I would have like symptoms out of this world, even with no cycle. And so all those things were kicking in. And it just was like, I was like, on top of that, I'm gaining weight. And when I went to my doctor, I couldn't even like go with my cycle. It was super heavy. I couldn't even like sit and just not go to the restroom. Within the hour, it would be like the worst. And I was losing so much blood. I thought something was wrong. So I had a biopsy done, and I had every test known to man probably done. And, my doctor is great, because if you complain more than once or twice, how they say sometimes women aren't listened to, I will give her credit. She will test you. And she ordered that biopsy. I've had, my back was aching, just every symptom that you could think of that's menopausal. And one of the things I found strange is that a lot of my friends and the ladies I work with, I have some very, good girlfriends, and a lot of them couldn't relate, because they either weren't in menopause yet, hadn't even started going through it, or they had hysterectomies. And I'm like, why are all these women having hysterectomies? I mean, no one could relate to me. And even my mom, who has passed on, she wouldn't be able to relate to me either, because she had a hysterectomy. And so I just thought, like, this is kind of, different. So going through all of that and just thinking, like, there has to be something I can do to combat all this. Like, there has to be something I can do. And, this also is why I know that weight loss is not like a morality issue. It's not a lazy issue. Anybody who knows me knows I am not lazy at all. Like, I'm far from that. But weight is the one thing that I just have not been able to conquer. I have that in common with Oprah. If I have something in common with somebody, I mean, anything else, like, I've been able to do, challenge myself, I can do it. Just this weight, it has not been that way. And no one else in my family is bigger. I think when you're a bigger person, you think like, okay, her mom must have been bigger, her dad. My mom had always been slim and trim. A size 2, to 4. Before she had her hysterectomy, she had blown up to like a size 12, and that was huge for her. And my dad, everybody in the family is just slim and trim, except for the women who had like shots to, not get, have a pregnancy. Those shots, I don't know if you remember those shots back in the day, but those shots made some of my cousins who were super thin, they put weight on them. So that's why, those women in my family were heavy, but everybody else is slim and trim. So it's not that. And I will never forget, my mom's like, maybe it's your thyroid. So she took me, we went to the doctor, and they, it was at a regular appointment. They tested my thyroid, and Yeah, guess what? It was my thyroid. So anyway, I'm having all these things going on. And so I finally go to the doctor in February. That's my birth, it was lots of cool things happen in February in our family. We have lots of birthdays. And I go to the doctor, and she's like, that she mentioned, she said, "Oh, you didn't do well with Ozempic. Do you want to try, or the Ribelsis? Do you want to try Mounjaro?" She's like, "It's another drug that came out. This time it focuses on two hormones." And she said, "Your hormone levels are low. You are perimenopausal." And she said, "This might be helpful." And so she told me, like, after you start on it for, what she say, 4 weeks, and then you move up, and then you move up. Now, mind you, if you've been listening to me talk so far, I've never mentioned diet or exercise or any of that, because my doctor never really mentioned diet or exercise. I think with the Mounjaro, because I think, remember, we were focused on appetite suppressant. I don't think she realized all that the medication could do either. And so when I was, at the doctor, and she mentioned the Mounjaro, she told me, it helps with two hormones. And remember, I'm having all these hormone issues. And so the two hormones that she mentioned, of course, I didn't know what that was, anything about it. And so I was like, okay. And, normally for me, I don't take something without researching it in depth first. This I kind of researched in a week, which for me is like not enough time, but it was enough time to get me going. I figured out I knew enough to kind of get me going. And you had heard about Ozempic, and I think I felt more comfortable with it because I had done some research on Ozempic because I was taking that Ribelsis. So I started the Mounjaro, and honestly, I have not had any of those side effects with the menopausal things like I had before. Even my cycle is regulated. Like, I would love to know, like, why that is. And I'm putting two and two together, and I'm thinking it's related to your hormones. But I just think, why aren't people doing more research and talking more about this? And I don't know if people in the chat or people on the live, if you're in menopause or perimenopausal. I think menopause starts in your 40s, but baby, when you get to your 50s, that's when it'll really hit you. And it's like more research should be done on this, so that you can help more people out. And so I didn't put that as one of my celebrations, but one of my celebrations should be that my Mounjaro has helped with my menopause. And I have a doctor's appointment in October. I think I meet with my gynecologist, though, in December. And I'm going to really talk to her about this. And, I wonder if I can get her to even, come on my channel. But one of the best things about Mounjaro, and I don't think a lot of people talk about this, and if you're on Mounjaro, it's because you were diabetic or pre-diabetic. Well, my A1C went from 7.6 to 6.3, which is in the pre-diabetic range. And so to me, I was so excited about that. I'm one of those people who never wanted to be called diabetic. I'm like, I am not diabetic. And I had a 50th birthday celebration, and I know that's what put me over the top, because I was drinking those sugary drinks that I normally don't drink. And so I was like, oh gosh, when I go to the doctor and get my blood sugar, my A1C tested, it's probably going to be over the top. Well, it was 7.6%. And I was just thinking, wow, I got to get that down. And so that was one of the things I'm very proud of. So I'm hoping that when I go in October, I'll be out of the sixes. I'm at 6.3. So I'm excited about that. And then my weight loss. So now, as of yesterday, I was at 34 pounds lost. Remember, I was at 32. I feel like the last video I made, I was at 32. I might have been just over 33.2, I think. So anyway, I've lost another pound. So I'll take that. And I'm just shocked I'm losing weight with these hormones I got going on. I mean, I just can't believe it. It's like Mounjaro was able to break through that. Nothing else really could. So I'm excited. The main thing, and I haven't really talked a lot about this, and I don't know if other people have experienced this, but the inflammation being out of my knees, it's like Geez Louise, I am so excited about that. Like I have a few steps, like I have a split level home and you go up a few steps, you go down a few steps. And I can zip up and down those steps now. I used to struggle a little bit. And then at work, we have lots of stairs. And I mean, even the most slim and trim people, even though you can be slim and trim and not healthy, they breathe hard when they get to the top. So now I'm up there with them. I'm walking side by side and I'm not breathing as hard as they're breathing sometimes either. But before Manjaro, I was. And so you could just feel it. I don't know if anybody in the chat want to share, but you could just feel that inflammation like leave your body. It's like a beautiful thing. And so that has really helped me. And, I was thinking because I don't have inflammation, why am I not exercising as much? I want to kind of like spank myself on the hand. And one of the reasons why is I've been making videos. One of the things I said is before school starts back, I was going to dedicate myself to this YouTube channel. And I started making these videos and I'm cranking these videos out. And before I know it, I don't have time to get that exercise in. So I'm going to slack up and maybe, just put out one video a week or maybe do, a live and a video to just kind of maybe slow things down with the videos. I also mentioned I have another YouTube channel and I haven't really worked on that as much. I've kind of, started it a little bit. So, I just have a lot going on, being a teacher, being a mom, and being the support for my dad. Just trying to fit it all in is a lot. But what are you gonna do? I think I could do it. So those are the things I'm excited about. Now I will share some of the challenges I'm still having. Of course we all do. I'm still having those unpredictable cycles, but I'm not having them as much. I'm still feeling fatigued, which is tired, but I'm only now feeling that way when I take my injection, and maybe like the first 3 or 4 days is really tough, and then after that, after the medication starts to wane off, it gets better. I do have a difficult time staying sleep. I'm up using the restroom. I don't know, does your GLP-1 keep you using the restroom? I mean, I'm up like 2 or 3 times a night. And then one of those times, if it's like Wednesday, like tonight, oh my goodness, today is Wednesday, Thursday, if I happen to get up and go to the restroom, I will not be able to go back to sleep. So I'll be up and then I'll be cleaning up, looking through stuff, going through papers, doing all kind of stuff. And the only thing I don't do is vacuum because I'll wake up my daughter. But if I could vacuum, I'd love to be doing that at 3 a.m. when I can't sleep. And so, I'm on 7.5 and I don't really notice the difference too much from the 5. Initially when that first week, it was, just like, geez, Louise, what is this? What's going on with this? And then after that, it kind of, I'm feeling like around the same. Bloating, like I'm constantly bloated. I think this time of the month, I'm bloated. And I don't know, this is I don't know if, Alonda and 2.0 Mommy, Jen, Deb, all you guys that, watch the videos a lot and comment, those, when I, what was I going to say? Oh, when I record my videos, I try to stand up because standing up, I feel like makes you look slimmer. If I could have recorded this and stood up the whole time, I probably would have tried to. So I feel like I'm always having that bloating because I'm having symptoms of a cycle with no cycle. And so my hormones are just out of whack. So, the fact that I'm losing at all, I'm really excited about that. But my goal is by Thanksgiving, I want to be down 20 more pounds. So I'm really, trying to reach that goal. Of course, the weight loss, I've been eating in a calorie deficit. I've been trying to purposely wanted to slow my weight loss down. And this might sound silly to some of you who, want to lose as much as you can so fast. But every time I've lost super fast, and I know I didn't have this medication as a tool, but every time I've lost fast, I've gained it back slowly, but I've gained it back. And so I thought, gosh, I want to, stay in a calorie deficit. I mean, there were times when I would, I know, Jen, I do not have fibroids. Well, you know what? I'll take that back. I was told I didn't have fibroids. And then the last time I went to my gynecologist, she told me that they did see some little tiny ones, like they were so little. So, and that shocked me because I wasn't aware of that. But yeah, that's one of the things we checked right away when I was having those, unpredictable, super duper heavy cycles. So, knock on wood, thank God I don't have those to deal with. So, I am eating in the calorie deficit. I made a video showing kind of what I was eating and, how I was doing with that. I've, cut back on those carbs a lot. So I should be seeing more weight loss. And then I'm a snack girl and I've been kind of letting those snacks go. And then my other challenge is, and it's not, like I've heard some people, I have constipation, which I think you're just going to have on this medication because the medication slows down your, it slows down your digestion, and it slows down that digestive tract. And so because things are moving slowly, it's not going to come out as fast. So I'm excited about, even the challenges aren't like challenges I've heard other people saying, like I'm not nauseated, throwing up, super sick, or I'm not having any of those experiences. So, I thank, God for that. It could be worse. It could be worse. So how much weight have you guys lost on the GLP-1? I know some of you in here have lost a ton of weight. And so I love that. That motivates me to kind of get my buns moving. But, I have a lot of stuff going on with these hormones that, I'm trying to get that under control. Let's see. Somebody said, oh, Deb says, I love that you're not losing fast. It's giving your brain time to catch up with your stomach, water, fiber, and squatty potty for constipation and walking. Well, yeah, walking. I've been doing a lot more walking at work. My school is huge. And so I've been moving in that aspect. But yeah, I do need to do some more intentional exercise. Jen, she's down 72 pounds. I love that. Jeez, that's a lot. I love it. So that's one of my goals. I guess if I lose 70 more pounds, I could get down to that would be 100 pounds lost. So it was a little under 72. So I'm excited about that. All right, Jen. You go. Anybody else? Or somebody, she's taking Benefactor. I do chew these gummies, fiber gummies, and that has helped a little bit. I take them in the morning. I remember at night. I don't always remember to take them at night. And you're supposed to take 2 in the morning, and then I take 2 at night. So that I think has helped. And then I do love those Grunz vitamins, Grooms, I think it's pronounced Grooms vitamins. I take those and they have 6 grams of fiber. They're super expensive, but so far they're worth it. So we'll see when I go to my doctor and do my blood work. Like all my vitamin levels and all of that is always in sync. And, I can also say, thank God I'm not on any kind of medication. I've really never been other than birth control. The only thing I do take is Mounjaro. So I'm going to see if those vitamins work and, if they keep my levels where they're supposed to be. 76 pounds with semaglutide. Wow. That is so cool, Deb. Good for you. Congratulations. That's a lot of weight. That's like a new person almost. All right. So this is what I wanted to talk about tonight really fast. Like, I hope you guys join the challenge with Eli Lilly. So I don't know if you can see that. Let me try to make it bigger. I don't know. I want to lose people. Is that making it bigger? So if you can see, I want to exit that. Okay, so I got this brilliant idea of mine that I wanted to buy this Eli Lilly stock. And, in all, transparency, I do trade some stock. I'm not new to this. But I had been saying I was going to buy Eli Lilly. And when I thought about buying it, it was $700 and something dollars. I can't remember, $750. And then, I didn't do it right away. And before I knew it, it was $900. And I thought I'm catching a sale when it's back at $7. And so it hasn't gone back down to the 7s. As if you keep up with the stock, it's up there. It was $900. Let me see how much it is right now currently. But anyway, I ordered $30 worth, and you can see I have 0.03153. And at that time, it was $951.47. Well, it has since gone down. So, and I saw it went down to 915. I thought, let me get $20 more, because my initial thought was to do $1 a day and do $30, for the month. But when I saw that, I thought, okay, I got to bring my average down. And so I, bought $20 more because I didn't want to go over 50. And I was at 915. The stock was at $915.75. And then you can see on this side, I don't know if you see my arrow moving or not, but I have 0.05337 shares. And so if the stock was, the average was 936. Now remember, I bought my first one at 951. When I, caught it at 915, it went down, it averaged down to 936. And actually I saw it at 900 or 899, and I wanted to buy it, but I said, no, I'm only going to stick with 50, because I just want people to see. And maybe in March, when hopefully I have doubled my money, or at least gotten $100 or $50 out of it, people will see, if you invest a little bit in the stock, you'll have a payoff, you'll have some little money. And, I always say, like, if Eli Lilly can buy your, if Eli Lilly can buy your gas, with $50, and Eli Lilly can buy your groceries if you make $100, whatever you can get, why not take it? Why not take it? So that's one of the things that I am going to be, doing a video about, keeping up with how much money I'm making. So right now it says I'm down $1.90, but actually, as of today, it went up $16. It's kind of shot up. So it shot up today to $920.89. And so let me look on my Robinhood and see. I am currently, I'm down 0.993 cents. So I'm not even down $1 today, because it went back up. So, over time, I'm not going to watch this every day. I'm just going to, basically, just keep track and see how I do, and see around Christmas time, when they start releasing some more of these studies. The bad thing about Eli Lilly, I don't know if you follow their stock, but when Novo Nordisk announces they've had a win, their Eli Lilly stock goes down. I mean, sometimes they both go up together, but it's just so funny to me how, when another company comes out and says that they've seen 25% weight loss in less than 3 months, and they have a dose and it beats Eli Lilly stock will plummet. So I'm going to have to, in March, be very clever about when I get out of there. So I don't know. Do you guys think, is that something? Do you own Eli Lilly stock? The people in the still here. Do you own any of Eli Lilly stock? Is that something you would consider doing? Let's see. Did anybody put something in the chat? She said, sorry, it auto checked your name. That's funny. So I don't know if you guys own any Eli Lilly stock, but if you don't, I say get in there, even if it's $20. She says, no clue for me. No stocks for me. I get that. Just did the math. She's been on semaglutide for 32 weeks. Wow. Jeez Louise. So Deb, did you feel stuff like that? I also was just listening to Dave on the pen, and he was talking about how he felt stuffed on semaglutide as well, like I did. You have that full stuff feeling, but on Mounjaro, you really don't have that. I just wondered if that's true for you as well. So that's leading us to the end. Does anybody have any questions for me? I don't know. Do you want to put questions in the chat? Anything you want me to answer? I thank you guys for showing up. I thought I was going to be the only one in here. I thought I was going to be the only one. It was going to be me, myself, and I today. Does anybody have any questions? If not, let's get to the raffle. Oh, no, but people in here always watch my videos, so I wonder. Now, if you don't, I don't know, Alonda, I saw your video about Element. I don't know if you want to win this, but maybe you could give it to your son that's very active. But I have an element of to raffle off. And so what I'll do is I'm gonna ask a question and you can put your answer in the chat. And whoever is the first one that answers correctly, give me your email and I will send this to you. And I'll mail it to you so you can have element. If you always wanted to try it, um, if anybody's interested in having this element, if nobody wants it and somebody says I'll take it, I'll ship it to you too. So here is the element. All right. So here is the question. If you want to win the element, do you want to win the raffle? Who can tell me what is the first thing I say in all of my videos? I don't think I've missed a video without saying this. Does anybody know? Write it in the chat. What is something I say in every video? The first thing I say. Nobody's writing it in the chat. Nobody wants the element. Oh, I'm on YouTube. Now, is this recording on YouTube? Now, that is what I don't know. LOL. She says my memory is too bad. Yes, damn. I always say, hello, hello. Damn, do you want this element? I will mail this to you. Maybe like in I think I'll give you my email and then you can email me and I'll email you your element. Let me see. Let me find my email. Jeez Louise. Do you guys remember your email? I'm so bad at that. Oh man, let's see if I can find my email really quick so I could give it to Deb. Okay, view email address. All right, Deb. So Alonda, Jen, any of you have to come on the live with me sometimes. We can talk about stuff. Would anybody be up for doing that? Not tomorrow, like you don't have to come tomorrow, but like at some point we could get on here, we could discuss things. I know Tia, will you do that? You have a podcast. She's used to talking to folks. Would you come on with me, Tia? Deb, did you get that address? Oh, Alonda said, not yet. I plan to. Oh, Tia, yeah. We have to think of what we could talk about. Alonda, you have to come on. Alonda, your stories are just great. 2.0 mommy. I don't know if she's in here. Deb, I don't know if you would come on. I don't think Deb wants to be on camera. Jen, would you come on? Would you be on camera? I don't know if you would either. But if you guys want to come on, you got to come on and I think you can stream from your live and my live. I think we can stream from both of our lives at the same time. I'm gonna get you guys out of there. This is so funny that I didn't want to show my face. Now I'm doing a live. That's how I operate. I'm like, if I'm in, I am in it to win it. So that's it. So Deb, you have to email me if you want this. If not, anybody who wants it, I don't know. Let me see, Deb. Did she answer? Yes, you took a screenshot. Okay, good. You could try. This is so cool. You could try out all the different flavors. They have a chocolate, a raspberry. They have all kind of flavors in there. Well, I am going to end this live. I have to give my daughter credit. She is 7. She did not come down and disturb me while I was making this video. I'm going to have to give her something extra special. Thanks. You like my new avatar? Thank you. Thank you all for joining. I told you guys I thought it was going to be 3 people here, me, myself, and I. So, I just did want to tell you before we leave, I did tell 4 of my close friends and they all live out of state, so they have not seen me. And I did tell them. And so I don't know if they're in here or not. I don't think so because they didn't say anything. So 4 people do know, but there are people who don't see me on a regular basis. Still, nobody has said anything to me that I actually see. So I'll have to keep you posted. Thanks for coming. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting me. We're going to have to get together and connect for some of these lives. Have a happy Thursday tomorrow. Enjoy your weekend. Looking forward to seeing your videos too. Thank you for coming again. You guys are awesome. Bye.